Welcome back to Let's Play Metal Gear Solid.
Come on, Snake. We made it.
We made it.
Over there. It's the boss, isn't it? I'll go get the wig ready to take off.
Right.
I'll leave you two alone. But come back in one piece, okay? Promise me!
Life's end. Isn't it beautiful? It's almost tragic. When life ends, it gives off a final lingering aroma. Light is but a farewell gift from the darkness to those on their way to die. I've been waiting, Snake, for a long time. Waiting for your birth, your growth, and the finality of today.
Boss. Why are you doing this?
Why? To make the world one again. The world used to be whole. But with the end of the Second World War, the philosophers began to fight amongst themselves, and the world was torn apart. The Cobras, my comrades who trained and fought alongside me, were torn apart as well. The foibles of politics and the march of time can turn friends into enemies just as easily as the wind changes. Ridiculous, isn't it? Yesterday's ally becomes today's opposition. And this Cold War? Think back. When I was leading the Cobras, America and Russia were fighting together. Now, consider whether America and Russia will still be enemies in the 21st century. Somehow I doubt it. Enemies change along with the times, the flow of the ages, and we soldiers are forced to play along. I didn't raise you and shape you into the man you are today just so we could face each other in battle. A soldier's skills aren't meant to be used to hurt friends. So then what is an enemy? Is there such a thing as an absolute timeless enemy? There is no such thing, and never has been. And the reason is that our enemies are human beings like us. They can only be our enemies in relative terms. The world must be made whole again. The philosophers must be reunited. I will devote my skills to that purpose. And with the Colonel's money, I will achieve that end. Just as I once created the Cobras. They are my family. I may no longer be able to bear children, but I still have a family. It was November 1st, 1951. I was in the Nevada desert participating in atomic testing. The name Nevada is derived from Spanish, covered in snow, white as snow. And snow is exactly what I saw in that Nevada desert. It froze my blood white. Snake, You were an atomic test subject, weren't you? On Bikini Atoll. That's part of the reason I was drawn to you. You and I are alike. We're both slowly being eaten away by the karma of others. We'll never have the chance to die peacefully of old age. We have no tomorrow. But we can still have hope for the future. In 1960, I saw a vision of the ideal future from space. 3 years earlier, the Soviet Union had succeeded in launching Sputnik, the first man-made satellite in history, into orbit. This came as a huge shock to the United States. In response, America threw everything it had into its own manned spaceflight project, the Mercury program. Even as the Soviets seemed poised to send their first man into space, America was still experimenting with chimpanzees and rockets. The government wanted human data, so they secretly decided to send a human being into space. I was the one they chose. At the time, they didn't have the technology to block out cosmic rays, and whoever they sent up would inevitably be exposed to heavy radiation. That's why they chose me. After all, I'd already been irradiated once. Of course, you won't find any of this in the history books. I could see the planet as it appeared from space. That's when it finally hit me. Space exploration is nothing but another game in the power struggle between the US and the USSR. Politics, economics, the arms race, they're all just arenas for meaningless competition. I'm sure you can see that, but the Earth itself has no boundaries. No East, no West, no Cold War. And the irony of it is, the United States and the Soviet Union are spending billions on their space programs and the missile race, only to arrive at the same conclusion. In the 21st century, everyone will be able to see that we are all just inhabitants of a little celestial body called Earth. A world without communism or capitalism, that is the world I wanted to see. But reality continued to betray me. In 1961, I was sent to Cuba, to Bahia de Cochinos. It was part of a CIA-sponsored invasion under the guise of taking Cuban exiles back to their country. But the US government betrayed them. Our weak-kneed president held back their air support. Defenseless, the exiles were annihilated by the Cuban army. All I could do was watch in silence. I was set up by the very country I'd sacrificed so much for, by the very government I dedicated my life to defending. I was driven from the surface world, and I went underground. Then, 2 years ago, I faced the Sorrow, my old comrade in battle. He was my friend. But one of us had to die. I was left with no choice. The Sorrow gave his life for me. There is no enmity between us. One must live, and one must die. That was the mission. The ones who gave me that mission were the philosophers. Early in the 20th century, the true holders of power in the United States, the Republic of China, and the newly formed Soviet Union gathered together in a secret meeting that would later be known as the Wise Men's Committee. The secret pact they formed there marked the beginning of the philosophers. But the last of the original members died in the 1930s. After that, the organization began to run out of control, and the Wise Men's Committee degenerated into a mere shell of its former self. The philosophers of today have no sense of good or evil. Their influence extends to countries and organizations involved in every aspect of every war. They have become war itself. That's how they operate. The sacrifices of war cause a shift in the times. This shift leads to renewed conflict, and in turn triggers the next war. Like a nuclear chain reaction, each conflict sparks countless others, forming an endless spiral that will continue on for eternity. Do you understand what I'm saying, Snake? By consuming me and you, the philosophers intend to keep that cycle going forever. It was my father who explained all of this to me. He was one of them. You see, I am the last remaining child of the philosophers. But after he revealed the truth, my father was killed by that same shapeless, formless organization. And my father isn't the only thing the philosophers have taken from me. In June of 1944, the Cobras and I took part in the landing at Normandy. We'd been given a top-secret mission to locate and destroy enemy V-2 rocket installations. I was pregnant at the time. The sorrow was the father. I gave birth on the field of battle. A beautiful baby boy. But my child was snatched away from me by the philosophers. Look at this scar. This is proof that I was once a mother. I gave up my body and my child for my country. There is nothing left inside me now. Nothing at all. No hatred, not even regret. And yet sometimes at night, I can still feel the pain creeping up inside me, slithering through my body like a snake. I've never talked this much about myself before. Thanks. Thanks for listening to me. I feel content. Snake? Commence the operation. I raised you. I loved you. I've given you weapons, taught you techniques, endowed you with knowledge. There is nothing more for me to give you. All that's left for you to take is my life, by your own hand. One must die, and one must live. No victory, no defeat. The survivor will carry on the fight. It is our destiny. The one who survives will inherit the title of boss. And the one who inherits the title of boss will face an existence of endless battle. I'll give you 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, MiGs will come and bomb the hell out of this place. If you can beat me in less than 10 minutes, you'll be able to escape in time. Let's make this the greatest 10 minutes of our lives, Jack.
Boss.
You're a soldier. Finish your mission. Prove your loyalty. Face me. Get ready!
Okay, we have our boss battle here. This is the end boss. And it's a little bit of unusual for an end boss. Actually, it's really not that weird because we're sort of using the CQC mechanic that we've been using the entire game, but it's going to work a little bit different now because the boss knows it as well. So you can have these weird sort of grappling judo exchanges between the boss and Snake, like this. And what I'm going to try and do here is I'm going to use the CQC on her, and I'm going to do the punches and kicks. I'm also going to use the tranquilizer gun. Why is because the CQC and punches and stuff don't destroy health. They actually go and these attacks go and reduce stamina. If you have enough tranquilizer rounds, and that makes depleting her stamina easier than depleting her health, because you do a CQC attack on her, then when she's down, you shoot her, and it's all taking out of the same life meter. Also, I'd like to point out how impressive looking this arena is because of all these flowers. They're not all moving. They're not moving independently of each other, but it certainly looks like they are, and it's really impressive. And another thing that I think one of the cool things about this is now we have the boss here. It's her mission is over. Her thing is over. Volgin is dead. The Shagohod's destroyed. Most of the soldiers are dead. It's a complete, utter disaster for her. There's no coming out of this. And no matter what happens, she's really not gonna. It's reasonable to believe that she's not gonna survive this. Kind of the same way of all the soldiers were still going after Snake, even though they didn't really have a chance of winning in the end. But it's sort of like what's going on. She has basically been Snake's protector the entire time, regardless of who she had allegiance to. She has sort of protected Snake. She could have killed him a bunch of times over, or she could have alerted Volgin's forces to where he was, killed him. She told him to run when he was in the torture chamber. I mean, she has been his protector this entire time, even though she's been in opposition. And all that sort of changed now. She realized it's all over for her. And she's standing in this field, and it's either her or Snake that's going to come out of this alive. She wants it to be Snake. She does, but she's not willing to just give him that victory. He has to earn it. And that's what this is all about.
Get ready!
Oh, that didn't work out too well for me. Oh, almost got out of it.
You're not the man I
Nope,
thought.
not that one.
All these years and still nothing.
Another thing I think is worth noting is that the things that she said she was fighting for was disillusion with the government sort of the world and turning your back on her and all that kind of stuff. But she, what she's doing and her reasons for defecting and all that seem to have been the same things that caused Big Boss to eventually start outer heaven. And that's kind of a funny thing. The Liquid Snake did the same thing, but here we have Big Boss and Snake at the time fighting against the philosophy that he would eventually become sort of become known for doing himself.
Run quick.
And maybe there's some sort of merit in that, because you have the boss doing it, and then Snake does it, and well, Liquid does it, but he was sort of a lunatic. And all these other kinds of things. But hey, make of it what you will. I don't know. This really does look pretty good.
Grenade!
I'm not quite sure the stun grenades are really a good idea, but I was trying it.
Let's see what you're...
Just to make note, I was playing this game before I played the game, and now I'm recording the commentary afterward. Oh, almost down. I ran out of tranquilizer darts, that's why I am doing CQC and punches and stuff while she's down. Make sure you're not looking at the grenades when they go off.
Brace yourself.
It's almost dead. Oh, camouflage. Go pick that up. Let's go take a look at that real quick before we move on. Where is it? There we go. Snake. Awesome. Take the face paint off. It's not quite over. Gotta hit her one more time. Oh shit. There we go.
Take this. Keep it safe. It's our only hope.
A patriot? Why are you giving me this?
Jack. Or should I say, Snake? You're a wonderful man. Kill me. Kill me now. Do it. There's only room for one boss and one Snake.